The power that made the body heals the body. Doesn't happen any other way. Does the body have the ability to heal itself?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, I want you to listen now real quick. Listen to the second word. The mortuary is full of bodies now. Don't forget that. The power that made the body heals the body.
Right.
That second word is not insignificant, because that's what makes everything happen. So does the body have the ability to heal, or is it the power in the body that makes it heal?
Power in the body.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're fortunate here, like in Georgia, we get to talk about chiropractic, we get to communicate with each other and things of this nature. But my friends in Europe, they can't. In fact, I'll be doing another Zoom call coming up with Chiro Europe in 3 weeks. I've been doing them in the past. They get their groups together. I do Australia. I've been doing Australia. We've been doing our meditations and things on Zoom calls and things like this, and the same for New Zealand. So what we're going to do tonight is this is going to be going to YouTube. So we'll be able to send it to all our friends, all the chiropractors, so they can get some energy going under this catastrophe that's going on, and help bring up some energy for them so they can keep marching forward and telling the story about this great wisdom that we have in our body and how our body heals. So to do this, we're going to have everybody stand up, okay? And we're going to do this on the count of 3. The power that made the body heals the body. But to do this, nobody in Europe's going to be excited seeing your hairdo. So we're all going to turn around and face that direction where Bruce is there with the camera. And we're going to give all our energy, make sure your face is getting all that energy to everybody else. This is going New Zealand, Australia, Europe, Great Britain, and Canada. Okay? So on the count of 3, we're going to say, power that made the body heals the body. Power that made the body heals the body. We got that now?
Yeah.
Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
The
Power that made the body heals the body. Now, just hold off here now. Now, you realize when you do this, we want to get add more energy to. When I speak and I want to affect somebody, I send little electrical volts, the tips of my fingers here. I don't want to get you here. So we're going to do the power that made the body heals the body like that, and then whop, whop, and then these are transmitters. We probably aren't going to use YouTube. I'm sending it right there, right now. It's going there. So I want you to have that feeling when the power made the body heals the body, and then I want those little transmitters here going, shh, and they're imagine you're seeing all these people over in Great Britain and Europe and Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and they're rising off their effing seat right now. I don't want to use that French word. Okay, so on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. The power that made the body heal the body. Wow. Okay. Sometimes when you do that, it's like, what else can we do the rest of the evening? Like a guy can just, it's like I'm vibrating already. I got the energy. I'm floating around here. This person, when I was practiced years ago, and I wanted to get some new patients. I had a convertible, so I used to drive up and down the streets, and I go like new patients, and zap. That's how patients end up in your offices and different things that happen to you. It's like if you're a chiropractor, you know this. You're a chiropractor. Patient comes past 5 chiropractors' offices, ends up in this one chiropractic office. How do you end up in your office? Because of the energy. It's like, whop, you just pull them right in. Now, Spizz. What is Spizz anyway? This is kind of like B.J. Palmer had Spizzerington. It's like, what is the energy in the tick? What is the tick? What is the tick in chiropractic? What is the tick? Anybody know? Innate. Innate is the tick. What is the tor in chiropractor? One that works with the innate. The tor and the innate. So B.J. Palmer, he was alive back then, years ago. And I got B.J. books back there, these green books. It's like, ooh. My one daughter was hurt in that accident when she was 18 months of age. And we're in the hospital. And so nurse comes up to my wife and says, "What's he reading, the Bible?" She says, "Yeah, it's his Bible. Those are the green books of B.J. Palmer." And that was my Bible. And I read all the books, see? And that's what they are. It's got all this wisdom in it. And this understanding of the innate. And, the question is like, I don't know how much you really think about it. There's a power, there's an innate, whether, like we just take it for granted. And where do you put where do you discover, where is this innate at? And I want to pass something out here. Oh, that's great. It's all sealed up. So we got a knife.
I got keys.
Oh,
I can figure it out. I don't know how to.
She lives in corn country.
Nebraska, I got
hey,
this.
so don't get corny here. We're going to pass these around. I want everybody to take a kernel of corn. I want to do this quickly because we want to spend the evening. So what did you do that day? Well, we went to River's place and we picked corn. Take one ear out, start getting these moving around as quickly as possible. And don't discriminate. Don't choose one corn over the other.
Or one kernel.
No, it's like,
Do you need a kernel? You need one? I got one. Do you need one?
yeah.
You can have mine.
You judge me by my appearance? That's Yoda. That's maybe before your Empire Strikes Back, all that Star Wars stuff and everything else. And so, get that corn moving. Some of you look like you're pretty hungry. Don't eat the corn, okay? Finally, I got the corn. Hey, that's good. Hey, I like that.
He's an athlete.
That's right. You throw that at me, and I think, what do you? Here's the question: can you make corn grow? Can you make it grow?
No.
No. Why? It's the magic in the corn. There's magic in this corn. If you take and plant it, fertilize it, water it, weed it, fertilize it. Another feed. You feed the corn, it can grow. You weed it. You take out those things that take away from it and try to steal its nutrients. So you weed it. You cultivate it. Get some air, water around it. But the kernel of corn. What's in this kernel of corn? Magic? Huh? Potential. Can you find it? If you break it open, will you find the potential there? Will you find the magic in it? You won't find it, but it's in there. Let's say this is your dream. What makes the corn grow? Universal source makes it grow, rather. Mother Nature. What makes your dream unfold? If you choose to cultivate it, feed it good things, weed it, avoid those things that take away from what you want to do. Water it, and then what happens? It grows in time. But here's an interesting thing. When you plant corn, you plant 3 kernels. One to rot and one to grow. The rotting, as it rots and breaks down, the one that's live takes its nutrients and uses it, and one for the crow. Why do you have one for the crow? Because the crow's going to come down, pick up that kernel of corn, and drop it, part of your dream, out into a world, and you'll know nothing about it. And your dream will unfold somewhere else. That's what's working for you all the time. So what would you do in your life if you wanted to have your dream unfold? Does everybody have a dream? Huh? How focused are you on your dream? What is your commitment to that dream that you have within yourself? Are you selective about the people that you associate with? Are you selective about the stuff that you read, that you pour in? Have you ever heard of the Kennedy family? Well, way back there was the father of the Kennedy family, and they had one daughter that was mentally disturbed in some way. And so they wanted to control her. You know what they did to control her? They took her to a physician. And they take an ice pick. And they go like this. right into the corner of your eye, right in the bone there, and twist it. This is what they did. And they were doing this to patients, and they did it to the old man Kennedy's daughter. And that creates a lobotomy. And when you have a lobotomy, you no longer can discern. You no longer think things. You don't have logic. You become a vegetable. And that's what she became. Today, at this age and time, what do they use to give a lobotomy? Television. The internet. Plugged into your iPad. These things, listening to this stuff all the time, just coming in like this. Until longer, you don't longer think. You're programmed how you're going to think. And then you're seeing today how selective the media is, how much importance they put into what they allow going into your brain here. And then what happens? You start acting out accordingly with no thought, because now you have the lobotomy. This is the same thing as why do we do all this work at the functional neurology at the school? It's to retrain the brain, because you're subluxated above the atlas. Yes, we can adjust here. But what happens when this gets mixed up here and the pattern's disturbed? That's why we do different programs. That way we do inner winners, which we'll talk about later. We challenge their thinking so that you start thinking outside the box. What's the best type of patient that you can get the best results in chiropractic? A baby. Why? It has no thought. You adjust it, it happens. What's the other type of patient? Your dog, your horse, your cat. It has no thought. You make the connection, and it happens. But you're getting patients that come in that are older, and the world's doing this to them. And you'll explain chiropractic, and you'll say, the power that made the body heals the body. There's a universal intelligence that flows through all things. And this individual aspect is that innate within each and every one of us. And when it's interfered with, it is less than whole. And when I remove that interference, wholeness comes back. And medicine has 22,000 names for that. From asthma to nephritis to diabetes, all kinds of names when a part of the body is out of order. It's called disorder, dis-ease. And that's what happens when you interfere with that nervous system. So you as a chiropractor comes along and you say, hey, let me remove that interference and allow the body to heal. And the patient will say, what about my asthma? The body has a great ability to heal. Let's allow that wisdom within to see what can happen. And all of a sudden you have this unfoldment. Wow. How long does it take to get well? As long as it takes. A patient would come in the office, how long is it going to take me? I don't have a crystal ball. I don't sit around here and say, wow, the stars are all working in your behalf. They are working in your behalf. But there is no time limit. I used to have allergies, hay fever, allergic to cats, and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't be around a cat. In the summer, I couldn't be out running because of the pollen. And I got chiropractic care, and I did better. But I still had problems, and I did better. And 20 years later, I had no more problem. And I sleep with cats now. How long does it take? Do you spend the rest of your life getting well or dying? When a patient comes to the office, when you say, this is for life, what does that mean? I'm not thinking of life. I'm thinking of life. For your life. BJ had a little saying, one cause. One correction. One cure. What did that mean? See, BJ was in a bigger picture. What is the cause behind all things? What is the primordial cause? And that's universal intelligence or God. That's the primordial cause behind everything. And there's only but one cure. And that's to release that cause within your body, that intelligence, that wisdom in God within. And there's only but one cure. The power of God in your body, this innate wisdom expressing through the tissue cells and bringing health back. See, a lot of people have a little problem saying, God. I'm not talking about some two-legged creature standing up in the sky pulling like your puppets. I'm talking the wisdom, the mother, nature, all the things that animates the world around us. We chiropractors work with the subtle substance of the soul. We release that tiny rivet of force that emanates from the mind, flows over the nerves through the cells, stirs them into life. We deal with that magic power that transforms common clay to living, walking flesh and blood. That's what you guys are all, and girls are going to be doing the rest of your life now. Releasing and allowing that expression of this wonderful wisdom in God within a person to start expressing. I was just talking to my friend Dr. David here earlier. I says, I hear chiropractors say, you can't pay me enough for what I do for you. And my answer to that is, if I paid you what you're worth, you would get nothing. It's the power within that did it all. What do we bow to? Namasati. I recognize the divinity within you, the innate within you. I recognize that in my patients. Mother Teresa says, I see the innate. I see the Christ consciousness within each and every person. As a chiropractor, I see that divinity, that innate within you. And when I make that adjustment and I release it, I allow that innate, that expression, that start expressing through your body, and physiology comes back to normal. The disorder becomes order. The disease becomes ease. That's what you do. I want you folks to develop a healing consciousness. Your job is not to be a bone mover. Your job is to be a healer. I want you to start taking, I don't care what quarter, you start getting your hands on patients and people and your friends. Just start feeling them and touching them. Go down their spine. Keep feeling them. Don't worry about moving bones or just feel them. Come in contact with, merge with them. Become a part of that. What's within me that's within the patient? What is that centeredness? That godlike, that divinity, that innate's within you is the same innate that's within me. Who said a mission trip? Anybody here? Raise your hand if you're high. Mission trip. You go on a mission trip, you know what you do? What was your experience when you went on Kelly? What was your experience when you went on a mission trip?
Nonverbal communication.
Nonverbal communication? What did it do for you?
Got me in touch with how to feel people and their emotions without speaking.
Okay. Because not speaking to say, you got to get in touch with that patient. You had to start merging yourself with them. See, when a patient's on the table, I start breathing with them. Getting that rapport. Start breathing, breathing. Before long, you're not moving bones. The bones are moving themselves. You're just in the flow of it, the flow of it. That's what you want to get. You don't want to say, I got to learn how to move bones. I get a kick out of here. Students that would be in the first or second, third, fourth quarter, they're out taking technique courses. How the hell can you take a technique course? You don't even know what technique is. It's like you're paying the top dollar for a chiropractic education for the best technique there is in the whole world that they teach you at life, and you're out trying to learn a technique they don't have. Does that make any sense? If they don't have it, then why are you going there in the first place? You should go to that place and ask them to open a school so you can learn their technique then. Oh, come on now. You got the best thing going. If you go through school and you learn the technique that you're taught here at Life at the Best, you'll start to find out, there's other things out there. Then there's clubs that teach various other forms of techniques that you can adapt, but they're still in the programs. What's the key area of your spine? Your upper cervical, right? That's the key. Now, B.J. Palmer, through all the years, did all his work. When I went to Palmer, we learned how to adjust atlas axis. That's what we learned. Hole in one, you know. Well, it's evolved. Now we got these great chiropractic programs. Dr. Roy Sweat, who just passed away, you know, AL technique, taught it in the clinic. We got Stan Pierce's work in the Epi clinics. He's teaching program now for the upper quarter students so you can learn more about how you can be very precise. Imagine being so precise. I was at Dr. Stan Pierce's office 3 or 4 times now over the past few years. And I'm in the waiting room. There's people from South Africa there, from Brazil, all in the waiting room at the same time, come in to get their necks zeroed in. Zeroed in. There's so much. If you were at any of you, I know probably you weren't, but if you were at the plenary for the Continue Ed Life Vision Extravaganza, you heard the doctor from Israel who's doing all the research to the vagus nerve and its connection, how it affects the brain and the spinal system. You heard Mike Longyear talking about all these various things. You heard Rob Scott give all the presentation of the upper circle, how important this thing is, the key to everything. So the thing is, hang out at life, learn what you can learn, and as you get involved, belong to clubs, do these things, and don't get caught in the people that start peddling courses to everybody, because there's people peddling everything, you know. And first place, once you have an education, and by the time you're in clinic, you're starting to think a little bit differently about technique, and then you can do a little more research on it. But I want you to start developing right now, being the healer. That's what you start doing now. Now, I want to teach you something a little bit about being centered. I need the 3 of you here, right? Stand up here a minute. Okay. Face Bruce there. And you get on this side here like this. You stay there. And you get on this side. And we're going to see about being centered and stuff like this. And what I want you to get. Was it easier that time?
Yeah, you went it fine.
What were you thinking about?
Light as a helium balloon.
Okay. Now, just for the heck of it, I want you to do it this time, and I want you to think you're 24 karat gold bullion. You're so heavy they can't pick you up.
You're always on.
I gave a little incentive. I told them I won't give them the gold if they pick him up. You'll never work a day in your life. Okay. When you're solid, 24 karat gold, and you're immovable, you tell them the word. Okay, good. You notice the difference?
Yes.
Okay, sit down back down. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, you all observed it. First time, he was just sitting there and they picked him up. Second time, he chose to be light helium. They picked him up, it was easier. The next time, you all knew what he's going to do. He's going to be heavy, 24 karat gold. So, tell me one thing that you gained from that, hearing, seeing that experience that you could use. Tell me one thing that you learned from that you could use in your life. What'd you learn?
You can visualize the image and then become it.
Okay. So, question, how can I use this in my life? You see, you can't get away, excuse me, of thinking. You have thoughts, and they're permeating out into the world right now. And they're affecting the people around you. You're transmitting right now. Who's got an iPhone here? Anybody? Anybody have an iPhone? When you use your iPhone, you use an iPhone? You use any kind of cell phone? Yeah. Okay. Do you usually pick up you ever picked up Dr. Lubrio's calls when you're using yours? You're in the same room? So somebody's transmitting. Somebody's transmitting and you're receiving, but you're tuned into that transmitter. But all that stuff's going through this room right now. So each of you is transmitting all the time up here. Your thoughts. And what are people picking up? What are people receiving? How strong is your impulse that you're pushing out? You're affecting the people around you right now. You're going to affect the patient that comes in your office someday, or if you're in practice. What you're thinking about has effect on how well they get. And I've talked to chiropractors. I'm really, really good at asthma, but I'm very bad at taking care of cardiac problems. And then somebody else goes, I'm really good at taking heart problems, but I'm not good at taking asthma patients. And that's a thought process. That's what they're beaming out. That energy is going out just like that. So what are your thoughts? And better yet, in the world that we're living in now, how guarded are you on the thoughts that you're beaming out right now? Because you are a part of the world that you're living in. You are a part of everything that's happening. You can't take yourself out of it. So it would behoove each and every one of us to be selective about the input we bring in and the output we put out. And we are in control of that. I can remember telling, I said, people, I says, quit reading the newspaper. That's when people read newspapers. We use newspapers now to start fires when we do our fire walks. So we don't, that's not a problem. So how selective are you? And I would tell people, quit listening to the news, and people say, how will I know what's going on in the world if I don't do that? I said, rest assured, someone's going to be telling you what's going on. In fact, you're going to have to walk with a deaf ear because people are telling, did you hear this? They're out there just trying to feed you everything. And it's like Dr. Sid used to say, he had a deaf ear and he had a good ear. And if you want to tell him something, he would say, yeah, talking to this ear, it's deaf. He doesn't hear. Yeah, keep telling me. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Because I'm not going to take part in that. What is your life purpose? Love, serve, give, and do. That's the technique you're going to do. Lasting purpose is to do the will of God. At Life University, I think you can see it in Socrates' case, the Life University's thing, it says lasting purpose is to lead an inner-directed life through love, serving, giving, doing. And if you don't awaken to this within here, you've missed the boat. I tell people when I'm recruiting, this is what I do all the time, there's 4 good things about becoming a chiropractor. 1, we recognize a universal power that created all things. You like that idea? I like it. If you can't buy that thing, you need to get out of our profession. You're going to have a heck of results. You think moving bones is going to get people well? Go down to the mortuary and move a few bones, see what happens. The second thing, it works. It really does. You move the bone, and this power, like, wow, it heals. And you know what? The third thing, they pay you, and they pay you very well. When you have a Wells Fargo truck comes to your house and takes your money to the bank, you say, wow. And the interesting thing, you'd have done it for free. Chiropractors, any chiropractors in the house ever give a free adjustment? Have you given lots of free adjustments? like we just love doing this thing. Okay? But here's the clincher. The 4th thing. Now comes the day. You're knocking on pearly gates. St. Pete sticks his head out and says, what do you want? I want to come in. What did you do? Well, I can tell you, I didn't just take up space. I did, but the world is different because I passed through. What do you want it to be? You want your world to be different? Do you want this world to be different? When I say to you, I'm tired of people taking all these drugs and everything else and thinking that's the way to health. There is a better way. If I can just start to show people there is a better way. There is a better way. Do we need medical doctors? Yes, we do. They're great for crisis therapy. Crisis, that's great. When my daughter got run over by a rhino, that was great. They nailed her leg back together. They did all kinds of things to her. But they had nothing to do with her health. See, the chiropractor is the only one that takes care of health. I don't know if any of you girls ever had a baby or had prenatal care, or your mother had prenatal care? But I can tell you, none of you, probably, unless you're going to chiropractic, had prenatal care. You went to somebody that was supposedly a doctor, and they weighed you, they checked your blood pressure, and yelled at you for gaining too much weight and says, come back next week. Is that prenatal care? You went to a chiropractor, they checked your nervous system, made sure the physiology is in order, system is working properly, so you'd be able to have a baby properly. That's prenatal care. That's what you offer. Do we need people in chiropractic to be in pediatrics? Yes, we need to. And we need to make sure mom and dads are under chiropractic care. Prenatal care starts with mom and dad before they even conceive. BJ said in 1914, we in chiropractic are going to build a superhuman race. And how are we going to do that? By adjusting chronic subluxation. And 500 years from now, humankind will be healed of that chronic subluxation and experiencing it. Nostradamus said, we're entering a period of time shortly. We'll have 1,000 years of peace. And who is the one that's going to usher in that 1,000 years of peace? Each one of you in this room. You're the ones that are going to do it. You're the ones that are connect people back to their source. In 1902, D.D. Palmer said, chiropractic is all about reconnecting the spirit, God, to the physical. That's your heritage. That's your heritage. And that scares some people. It scares the people that say, I don't want to lose control. I can't sublimate myself to a higher power. There are people that take and read the Bible and it says we shall have dominion over all things. The Bible says we shall be the caretakers of the earth that we live in and all its creatures. The caretakers, not the abusers. We live in a cooperative universe. We live off each other. The bacteria, the virus, all of us, we all live together in a cooperative universe. We need all of these things for us to survive. Yet we treat the world as though we're living in a world that's competitive. It's me against them, me against bacteria, me against viruses, me against this, me against that. It's none of those things. As I was talking to the professor at Life, the new philosophy speaker, and I said, there's no doubt about it. This body has a great ability to heal. But I can tell you, if you're living in a septic tank, it can get overwhelmed by bacteria. So I would behoove you don't live in a septic tank. But if you're living in the world, your body's adapting, and that's what's tremendous, okay? And so that's what we got forward. So next up, we'll bring a renowned speaker, professor at Life University, my friend, your friend, Dr. B.J. Harmon. That's how it records.
Thanks, brother.
Okay?
Do I need to clip this somewhere, Bruce?
You can put it on the tip of your hat. You can clip it where you want.
How about on the tip of my tongue?
Yeah, there you go.
What? Those lips.
Stand.
Yeah, that's how you'd want it, so I can't say a word.
If you had a beard, you could clip that on there. You should have let it grow.
Should have let it grow out a little bit longer. No, Jackie doesn't like it when it gets too long. My beard.
You got it? Or do you help?
Got it. Don't got it. It's like playing softball. Got it. Don't got it.
Almost had it.
Almost got it.
Almost, there it is.
Almost only counts in
Now.
horseshoes,
Hand grenades.
AIDS, and nuclear bombs. Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, you're so welcome.
I had an interesting email from a student a couple of days ago. Dr. Harmon, I have a question. Is there a specific or a particular adjustment that helps with cerebellar dysfunction? And I thought about my answer. I actually took a pause for a second. I said, no, there isn't. Because Logan adjusts the sacrum. Dr. Sweat adjusts the atlas. Gonstead could adjust T6. Okay? The student was still in the mindset that there is a cookbook formula to chiropractic. And there really isn't a cookbook formula to chiropractic. A patient with cerebellar function can come to you, Vanessa. You're going to find what you're going to find. You're going to adjust where you're going to adjust. And you're going to do what Gonstead said, not only one cause, one correction, one cure. He said, find the subluxation, accept it, correct it, and then leave it alone. Because the body is what really does the healing. Okay? What?
The power of
The power of the body, the power of the body does what the healing is. Okay? It's that same power that takes a sperm cell and an egg cell 280 days later, gives you a living, breathing human being. Like daughters and grandkids. Is there anything better than grandkids? No. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to say. I had some thoughts I did, but Dr. Ribley really gave me a good kickoff and a direction. When he started off about talking about dreams, okay? Everybody has a dream. Most everybody thinks they want to be rich, okay? Do you want to be rich or do you want to be wealthy? Okay? There's a difference, okay? I'm not rich, but I'm wealthy, okay? 44 years with the same crazy lady who still loves me. Why, I don't know. 2 kids. Hey.
You guys have been together almost the same amount.
2 daughters, 2 son-in-law, 2 grandkids. You know, life is good. But you've got dreams. What steps do you take to achieve those dreams? Okay? I originally wanted to be successful in the corporate world in New York. I was halfway through an MBA in marketing at St. John's. I was the youngest buyer in a $2 billion department store holding company and absolutely hated it. I was what you would call successful. Absolutely hated it. Unfulfilled, unhappy, bad life. I mean, I'm saying, shit, am I going to do this for the next 40 years? Fortunately, I got reconnected with a friend of mine who was going to chiropractic school on Long Island at that point, Mel Gabriel, Dr. Bruce's brother's roommate. You want to talk about 7 degrees of separation? Okay? We've known each other, God knows how long, too many years, and we really care to remember. His brother's a guy by the name of Murray Galbraith, who I've known for 45 years. Gave me my 2 adjustments, and that just started me on the way. Okay? And I'm living in Queens, and they're going to school on Long Island. Anybody from New York? Okay? I'm living in Queens. They're in school on Long Island. I can drive on the LA or the Grand Central Parkway against traffic and go to school. My buddy looks at me and says, if I was going to start, I'd go down to Marietta, Georgia. This is 1977. They talk funny down there. Okay? And he looked at me and said, if I was going to start over, I'd go to Marietta, Georgia. I've never been further south than South Jersey. Just go, okay? That's trusting the universe, okay? That's the start of the dream, okay? Start first quarter, meet this yo-yo, Dr. Briegel, okay? How many times have you heard me say, when you see other chiropractors, it's cool, right? There's a special bond between classmates, okay? Every day for 3 years, he was at our little wedding ceremony when I married my wife. We did dinners together. We did holidays together. We studied for boards together. None of us ever failed any boards, did we? Not at all. When we graduated, we took a private room at the Marriott. What did we have, about 100 people there with all of our family and friends for graduation, the Saintly Six? We had a good time. And then Lou decided to stay here. And I wanted to go work for someone with a big practice. I always visualized working in a big practice. So what happened was, as we graduated, I got offered an associate's position with a chiropractor down in Florida, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Irish, Polish, Midwestern, conservative Catholic. Okay? Yes, exactly. How many of those qualities do I have? Zippo. Yet a classmate of ours, what? Blue eyes, thank you. Okay? Yet a classmate of ours had the same type of opportunity to go into practice in North Carolina with someone of the exact, cut from the same fiber, same exact cloth, weren't they? Soft-spoken, quiet, deeply religious Southern Baptists, both of them. I can still hear Lou laughing. They got a marriage made in heaven. You and your partner are going to last 2-3 years. How, right? Everybody said marriage. Okay? We practiced together for 11 years, had a great practice, a great run. The other 2 ended up in court fighting it out. Our classmate left his own practice. It was sold on the courthouse steps. Divorce. I mean, you dream what you visualize, what you see in your mind's eye, you can achieve. But you got to do the work. You got to take the steps. I spent a lot of time all through life going to DE, being mentored by people like Dr. Ribley, Dr. John Hoffman, Dr. Sid, Dr. Umber. We had mentors. We had role models. They said, if you want to be like us, do what we do. Show up in your office, tell the story, deliver the goods, make it affordable, and have fun doing it. Paid your dues. We paid our dues going through school. Okay? I wanted a high volume practice. The guy I went in with was seeing 200 patients a day. His associate was seeing 100 patients a week, 3 days a week. He leaves. It takes me 8 months to get Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday to 100 patients a day, and then another 6 months to get to 200 patients a day. What did I do mentally and physically to be able to have the discipline to see that many patients? I was running 30, 40 miles a week. I was playing racquetball, tennis, golf, softball. Got my wife, both of us got 120-foot open water certified scuba divers. We worked hard. We play hard. We went to DE. We went to meetings like this in Florida. We listened to our mentors. We communicated with our friends. Okay? We did the hard work to get to that position. Okay? You don't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to go run a marathon today. It doesn't happen that way. Okay? You got to first run a quarter mile, half a mile, 1 mile, 3 miles, and work yourself up to it. But if you got the goal, okay, if you've got the goals, if you've got the plans, plan your work and work your plan. What do you want? Do you want the practice of your dreams? You can have it. Do you want a nice home? You can have it. Do you want a lot of friends? You can have it. You can have anything you want, but it all starts right here. Have your mentors. This is why Dr. Ribley asks me all the time, please help with doing this. What was it, about 3 years ago? Yep. I started helping out. Yep. And this was, it was on MLK Day. I said, no one's in school. Everybody's got the day off. I'm going to sit down, write an email to my classes. Before I sat down and wrote the email, I got a text. We got 18 people registered. Have you sent out an email? Okay? We were thinking the same thoughts at the same time. How many of you got my email and are here because of it? Glad you guys are here. Okay? Glad you guys are here. These are the steps in your life that you need to take to have the life of your dreams. Our dear friend, Dr. Armin Rossi, said, happiness is when your reality exceeds your expectations. Okay? I had a great run in practice. I had a great run teaching. Had, as Dr. Ribley knows, a little bit of a falling out with Dr. Sid. A lot of people had a falling out with Dr. Sid, but that's okay. Things happen for a reason. What's going to happen? We go out to dinner on my birthday in 1998. My buddy, Dr. Bobby Braille, says, hey, I got an idea. This is before anybody's doing anything on the internet. So for 15 years, Innate provided me with the blessing to have a website business for chiropractors for 15 years. Got tired of that, decided I'd like to go back to teach. Call up my friend who's the dean at the time, Dr. Davis. Got anything? He goes, I'm going to have 2 positions in the clinic opening up. Put the application in. Great. Fill out the paperwork. They say, write an essay on chiropractic philosophy. Gee, I think I could do that. Okay? Write a real good essay on chiropractic philosophy. Send it in. Next step is a phone interview. Okay? I know 1 or 2 people on the phone interview. It's on a Thursday or Friday. I get an email the following Monday. Thank you so much for your interest, but I didn't make the cut. Damn. Okay? Innate still provides. Dr. Davis gets promoted from dean of clinics to dean of the school. I need you to do me a favor. Okay? I was really bummed out. I don't get depressed too often. I really don't. I was really bummed. How could they not want me? Okay? What the hell? What the hell are they? How could they not want me? They called you. If ever I need a character reference, I'm calling every one of you guys, not him. Innate works in strange ways. Do you trust the fact? What'd you have for breakfast? Yogurt? Do you trust the fact that your body's digesting the yogurt? I do. Because the innate within you is taking care of that. Okay? Years ago, my wife and I turned over our lives. Just be patient. I was the most, Lou will tell you, I was the most impatient, annoying son of a bitch on the planet. Okay? Mellowed a little bit. Some things never change. Mellowed a little bit, though. Everything changes. Everything's about perspective. Dr. Davis said, I need a favor. I'm going to be out of town. Could you cover a class for me? I happened to have been out in Phoenix at a seminar, and I was really bummed, and I signed up for a daily motivational email that I still get every morning. The first thing in my inbox is something motivational. My buddy said, sign up for this. Davis calls, says, could you cover my class? Covered the class. He said, do you want to come back part-time this way? Worked part-time, full-time. Everything happens for a reason, okay? Are you doing the right things? You want to be busy? You want to have a great practice? Do right, take the steps. I don't write things down. I'm pretty good at remembering things, okay? But I have written up on a little Post-it note right on the top of the credenza of my desk. When I came back to teach, it was 2013, I was 61, so I put a little 65 there. I said, I'll do it for about 4 more years. Crossed out 65, put it to 68. Crossed out 68, changed it to 70. Right? I'll be 70 in August. 70 is since crossed out. 72 is the new 68. Okay? I just keep moving the bar. But you got to have plans. Austin, would you drive from here to Seattle without a GPS?
Probably not.
Okay? That's the plan. You get your plan, you go to Seattle, you put it in the GPS. Where do you want to be in a couple of years?
In practice.
In practice. Probably. Okay? Where do you want to be in a couple of years? I have no idea. Okay? Start writing things down. Everybody got goals? Who writes their goals down and keeps them in front of you? Goals that aren't written down are nothing but, who said it? Nothing but prayer. They're dreams. Dreams are good. Goals that aren't written down, nothing but prayers. Okay? Take the steps now. Do everything you can to be the best. And Dr. Ribley said it perfectly. It's always been one of my pet peeves. Second quarter students going to technique seminars. You don't even know where the bone is yet. Thank you for the validation. That's great. It's great that you want to improve, but you're putting down bricks and mortar on a foundation that isn't set yet. Okay? Set your foundation. Then build on top of it. People always say to me, students say, what kind of technique did you use? I used a little full spine, a little Thompson, a little HIO. My partner was a Logan grad. He taught me Logan analysis. So we adjusted similarly. We met, he was over here, I was over here, we met in the middle. When I moved up here, some of you have heard this story, we needed a babysitter. His daughter was in the program at the time. So she came over, watched the kids, we come home, would you mind adjusting me? Sure. Laid her down on a table, gave her a full spine adjustment. She bounces up off table. Long blonde hair, big blue eyes, always with a big smile. Said, oh my God. That was exactly like my dad's adjustment. Okay? Because we, as Dr. Ribley said, we were not selling the tour. We were selling the tick. And we both had big personalities. There were patients that would not come to me on a bet and would only go see him. Patients that would only come to me and wouldn't see him on a bet either. But you know what? They were under our roof. And that's what we were thankful for. We sublimated our individual egos, our individual personalities for the good of the patient. If you put patients first above your needs, the universe will reward you with whatever you need and whatever you want. It's not rocket science. I spent a lot of time visiting other chiropractors. My motivation was, I'd look at some of these people and go, that person's successful? Seriously? I can do this. Okay? You all have the same potential. There's magic in your hands. Practice it. That's the art. If you can tell the story and deliver the goods, as Joe Stuckey used to say. Joe Stuckey was an old DE doc, was around in the early 60s when Dr. Sid started DE. Tell the story, deliver the goods. His daughters are chiropractors, granddaughters chiropractors, sons-in-law chiropractors. It's a family. If you haven't noticed, it's a family thing. Okay? But get real good. Dr. Ribley said, get your hands on as many people as possible. Practice, practice, practice. Tell the story, deliver the goods. The old saying used to be, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will be the path to your door. If you take care of patients according to their needs and not your needs, your patients will become your greatest ambassadors. They will sell you for you. You won't need free x-rays. You won't need Groupons. You still need to get your name out there. But your patients will become your advocates, your supporters. They will lay down in the grass in front of a moving truck for you. That's how loyal some patients are. My friend, Dr. Rossi, just recently sold my old practice when he went up the road to teach at Sherman. Every time I'd see him over the last 25 years, he would bring regards from patients of mine that he was still seeing 25 years after I left practice. Those patients are called bedrock patients. They're the foundation of your practice. If you build a bedrock practice by taking care of patients according to their needs, doing it with principle, with no regard for what you need, but everything for what they need, you will enjoy the life of your dreams. It's easy. More importantly, you'll have fun. I haven't worked a day in 40 years. Okay? Teaching's not work. Well, 7 a.m. classes. Okay? Getting up at 10 after 5, that's work. But teaching is not work. Lecturing is not work. Practice is not work. It's just, I'm going to school. You're going to where are you saying? I'm going to the office. It's not work, right? Right. You want the practice of your dreams, invest now. When you have a break from school, go visit busy docs. If it's a short break, you're staying in town, I think you can find a couple of chiropractors in Marietta. Okay? It's not that hard. All you got to do is look and you'll see a couple of chiropractors. Visit busy docs. Find out what you like about their practices. Find out what you don't like about their practices. Visit old docs, young docs, inner city docs, suburban docs, multiple doc practices, solo practices. Find out what you like, and you'll be a little bit of a hodgepodge of everyone that you've seen. Okay? I'm really glad all of you guys made it tonight. Dr. Ribley wanted me to pass this out as I'm finishing these. That's not it? Square one. Okay? These are B.J. Palmer's last written words. Everybody should have one. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Pass them back. Got them? While you guys are passing, I'll be imbibing. B.J. Palmer is our common ancestor. And if you want something really cool, if you want to observe something, take a look at Dr. Ribley's diploma over there with B.J.'s signature on it. Okay? Yes, that means he's older than me, but that's good. No matter what chiropractic school anyone goes to, he is our common ancestor. Okay? Everybody got one yet? Yes, yes, yes? And I was talking to Dr. Adler over here. Dr. Adler's brother-in-law passed away several years ago. His name was Dr. Ernie Landy. One of the kindest, most decent souls you ever could meet on the planet. Dr. Landy actually bought the practice of Dr. Reggie Gold when Dr. Reggie Gold retired. So there's a lineage and a connection there. And Dr. Landy probably had referred close to 250 people to become chiropractors. Pretty much everybody Dr. Landy would look at and go, have you ever thought of becoming a chiropractor? Okay? That happened to a lot of you. That's how we grow the tribe. Because we're a tribe. And this percentage of the profession, we are the minority. We need to be the majority. And by sticking, Churchill said, those who do not learn from history are condemned to repeat it. You must learn and own your history. And I got bifocals and I still can't see this. Okay? Read it along. BJ's last written words, he said, time always has and always will perpetuate these methods which better serve mankind. Chiropractic is no exception to that rule. My illustrious father placed this trust in my keeping to keep it pure and unsullied or defamed. I pass it on to you unstained, to protect as he would have you do. As he passed on, so will I. We admonish you to keep this principle of practice unadulterated and unmixed. Humanity needed then what he gave us. You need now what we give you. Out there in those great open spaces are multitudes seeking what you possess. The burdens are heavy, the responsibilities are many. Obligations are providential, but the satisfaction of traveling the populated highways and byways, relieving suffering and adding millions of years to lives of millions of suffering people will bring forth satisfactions and glories with greater blessings than you think. Time is of the essence. May God flow from above down his bounteous strengths, courages, and understanding to carry on, and may your innates receive and act on that free flow of wisdom from above down, inside out, for you have in your possession a sacred trust. Guard it well. His last spoken words were, you are chiropractors, most are not. You must carry the banner for chiropractics to survive. I've had a lot of mentors, okay? Fortunate to have a lot of mentors, good mentors. You will mentor other people going forward as well. We have a phrase in Hebrew, Dr. Adler will know it, it's called Lador Vador. It means from generation to generation. Our generation is not going to be around forever. You're going to be the next generation to make sure that your kids and your grandkids have subluxation-based, principled, vitalistic chiropractors to go see. When a patient comes to all of your offices, it's your obligation to say, have you ever thought of becoming a chiropractor? Because then they will change lives, and it doesn't spread out arithmetically, it spreads out geometrically. We've got to grow the tribe. It's up to all of us. That's why you're here tonight. Investing in yourself, investing in your future, our future, chiropractic's future. Thank you for listening. I appreciate all of you and glad you're here. Does this mean we're not going steady anymore?
Whatever it means. We need everybody to sign this. Want your name printed, email it.
You don't see me. I'm not here.
Everybody needs to get a ticket. After you get a ticket, make sure half of your ticket ends in this hat. And if it doesn't, that'll be your problem. It's interesting when listening to BJ talk about the fact that going around and visiting other offices, many of you will start thinking, what's going to happen when you get out and practice or when you graduate? Where will you go? And so to me, wherever you're at, now's the time for you to start visiting chiropractic offices, shadowing different doctors, finding out how they operate. This is time when you get to the clinic, you make sure you get yourself on a mission trip. By the time you do your peak time in the last couple quarters, then you're in a position, after monitoring or shadowing people, you're in a position to get yourself so you can get really down to how you're going to run a practice. There's no reason at all why you can't, when you graduate, open an office on your own. You don't have to go work for somebody. You can choose to go work for somebody. There's different doctors' offices you can do contract labor in, and you give a percentage of whatever you make, and you don't have to have any investment in it yourself. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do this, but you start preparing now by visiting offices, see how they operate, get the feel of it, get around people, so that when you do the peak, then you're ready to go practice. The other thing when you're in school here, they have student loans they have, right? I find that many students feel that they want to borrow as much as they can borrow. When you go through school, you should borrow as little as possible. You don't need to live on the wild side. You don't have to have a new car. You don't have to have all these various things. What you want to do is when you get through school, you want to have a loan as low as possible. There's nothing wrong with having a student loan. But when you pay it off when you get in practice. And it's nice to get in practice to enjoy some of the money that you're making instead of just having to pay it back to everybody. And that to me is like, some of you work, some of you don't. My kids, when they went through school, they worked. And my daughter-in-law, her and her husband have a great successful practice down the street here. They got like 10 doctors in the office there. And when she went through school, she worked. And she had babies and took them to class and whatever she had to do. Passed all the exams, passed the basic exam, all this kind of national boards with no problem. The point is that you can do whatever you want to do, but be committed to what you're about. And the idea is don't keep living off your future thinking you should spend everything. You should have everything. To me, as being a student, you have everything. You go to other countries, it's a privilege to have an education. And when you have the opportunity right now to get an education in chiropractic and to go to Life University, it's a privilege. And don't have the feeling, oh, I can't wait to get out. And I don't, whatever it is, I talk to different students, I don't like going to school. It's like, that would be like saying, I don't like living my dream. You know why people climb mountains? They don't climb them to get to the top. They climb the mountain because they want the climb. You're in the climbing right now. Are you enjoying it? All the little things that come with it. Are you enjoying that? So take advantage of the opportunity that you have when you're here at Life. Check out other offices, see how they operate. Get the feel of what you really want and the type of practice you want, just like Dr. BJ was saying. And everybody put a ticket in here? Huh? Did everybody get a ticket? Well, Dr. Larry said they were willing to give tickets out to anybody who's parked illegally out there, but that's a different type of ticket. So I don't want you to put that ticket in the box here. Are they all in there?
Coming. 2 more.
Good. That doesn't look like very many, does it? I hope everybody didn't put one in. That way you'll have a better chance of getting something. We're going to have a couple raffles going on. I'm just going to do something right now. Just change the energy. It was kind of cold. And so, let's see what we got here. So maybe you could use this tonight. The first one that gets this is, it's a hat and scarf, Life University. You like that? So you'll be able to wear it tonight. And we're going to really, we're going to turn the thermostat down. So would you like to take a ticket there and tell us what it is?
Okay, here we go. I gotta mix them up though. I gotta mix them up. Okay, this is gonna be a good one. Ready? I think I did. All right. Do I read it or do you read it?
You can read it.
Okay. Oh, you need to get it? Yeah. Okay. 0862119. Yeah! Heck yeah!
Now you can feel like you can definitely go north to practice. Okay, we'll do one more like that. You getting that warm, snuggly feeling? We'll let you draw off this time.
Draw mine.
Wouldn't that be convenient?
086205.
There we go.
Yeah!
Here.
Giving it a try.
Honestly. I think it might be.
That good?
Appreciate it.
Okay. I don't know if you can get all your hair under that hat now. But that's good. Next up we have Dr. Lou Briegel. Known him for many, many, many years, has run a very good practice through the many years. In fact, when we were doing Interwinters, we were talking about this earlier, when we started Interwinters back in 1989 or 1990, Interwinters all developed around the big idea, awakening that something within yourself, let it become the guiding light of your life. And it was interesting because you can live the life of your dreams. And Lou and Lori Briegel, sitting here, they wanted to have a child and it just wasn't coming into effect. And they came to Interwinters. They're on to do different events, and they present up to the world as about they each wanted to have this child. And they went home, and she got pregnant immediately. So, girls, that's what Interwinters can do for you. Let's see. See, you missed the gist of that. That means you're capable of even conceiving a child. You can do whatever you can conceive your dream by tapping into something within yourself. You can tap into that magic within yourself. And that's pretty heavy. So we've known them for years, and Dr. Lou is going to, where's that other mic?
It's right there.
Okay, it's going to share some wisdom. We all set?
See if I'm more functional than BJ here.
Wow, that was fast.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think the first Interwinters was 1988, Doc.
There you
There you
go.
go.
I didn't know you were that old.
Oh, goodness. What a blessing. What a blessing it is to be here. How many of you are in first through third quarter right now? Great. How about fourth through seventh? Anybody here?
Heck yeah.
Excellent. Anybody over seventh, eighth through on? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, how exciting. All right. So,
40 years in practice.
yes. Anybody over 40 years in practice?
Well, Lou needs all the practice he can get.
I know, right? Well, speaking of practice, we're going to do some practicing here today. So I would like to know, somebody tell me what is chiropractic? There's three things we say. What's chiropractic? It's an art, science, and the philosophy. Okay, it's all three of those things. So you probably got involved in chiropractic because you're excited about the principle, what we talked about already. Is that true? Yes. Okay, so as you go through school, the ones that in first through third quarter that raised their hands, you probably still have a little bit of that excitement. You want to find out things, you have that drive, you want to go. Now you transition to fourth through seventh quarter. What's it like for you? Is it a little more challenging? A lot more science? Your wheels kind of out of balance? Your science spoke is huge, it's all consuming, and you don't spend much time with your philosophy and your art. Is that true? So what you need to do, because that's a time when you can get lost, okay? You can get off track because you're out of balance. And you start to lose why you're becoming a chiropractor. You start to lose what chiropractic is, and you start to think it's something that it's not. It's more mechanistic. It's more scientific. And it's really a balance between all three of those. So something like this is what keeps you focused. It keeps you on track. It gives you the reason. You need to keep your eyes set on your dream, on your vision, on the reason, your goal. Does that make sense? So there's a couple things we need to do in regards to that. To just piggyback on things that were already said, we're in the South here. How many of you are not from the South? Ooh. A lot of Yankees in here? Okay, so yeah, I know. I'm what they call a damn Yankee because I stayed here, you know. So a Yankee is somebody who comes and leaves. So all of you students that are going to go back, you're just Yankees. But if you stay here, I can point out a bunch of damn Yankees in the room here. But anyway, down here in the South, we've got something called barbecue. How many of y'all like barbecue? And what goes good with barbecue? Beer. Okay, we know where BJ's thinking. What kind of food item goes good with barbecue? Baked potatoes. Baked potatoes.
Brunswick stew.
Coleslaw. How many of you like coleslaw? Okay, so we're in the South. Slaw. Slaw. It's important. It's important to understand this. How do you spell slaw? Okay, well that sounds like a cool thing. So S means what are we talking about? We need to stand. We need to look. We need to ask for the wisdom of our predecessors, and then we need to walk within that path. So what we're talking about, that's your goal. You have to go out and see as many practices as you can. Go into different chiropractors. Find out mentors. Get in touch with the people who preceded you. Because whatever you're going to learn in school with one another, you're just kind of bouncing ideas off of things that you don't know. It's good, it's needed, and it's necessary. But you need to hang out with people that have been doing this for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years and more. You need to go find out what's made them successful. They've already paved the way. They've done all of the wrong things. Heaven knows we've done all the wrong things, but we survived because we had that vision, because we had that purpose. And that's why things like this are important. This is what helps to keep you going through all those challenging times when you've got all the science overloads and so forth. Okay? So, anybody like to shoot guns? Go to the range? So, have you ever gone and taken a shotgun and shoot it at a target and then looked at the target? What's the target look like? It's full of holes. It's scattered all over. There's so many people in the world that's how they think they need to do health care. They need to take care of themselves. Try this, try this, try this, try this. They're scattered all over the place. All over the place. Now, what happens if you take a pistol or a rifle? You don't get a bunch of shells and bullets and BBs and whatever comes out of that shotgun. How many bullets does come out of a gun? There's one. There's just one. And it goes straight and true and right to where you're shooting it, right? So why does that happen? It's because the shotgun shell is just a tube. But if you look down the barrel of a rifle or in a pistol, there's grooves that are put into that barrel. And those grooves are there because that puts a spin on the bullet, so it makes it go straight to where you're shooting it. So what's that have to do with anything? I'm sure you all want to go down the range tomorrow and start trying this out, right? No, because that bullet that you're putting in this pistol, that's your vision, that's your goal, that's where you want to go, that's your dream. And what you need to do if you want to hit that dream, you need to build grooves, which are habits. Dr. BJ says you get up. What did he do to be successful? He was running, he was playing tennis, he was doing things. He still ate like crap the whole time, but he was doing other good things. He was building good grooves. Okay? We need to.
You were at the barbecue joint with me.
Well, yeah. But I had more slaw than you did.
I should have had the slaw instead of the fries.
Yeah, there you go. So you need to do the things and do them consistently so you get better and better. You need to feel the spine all the time. Different people. Guess what? Everybody has the same spine, but they all feel different. And you need to experience that. You need to spend time with one another. You need to be talking about chiropractic. You need to be talking about the philosophy. You need to be talking about the things that excite you so that when you get out and actually start doing this, you can keep doing it. Oh, and by the way, unlike the rifle, that the grooves are built and it's done, how many of you think that when you graduate, you get a DC program that's it, you've made it? How many of you think that you're going to be students the rest of your life? And as students the rest of your life, you're constantly going to be able to make grooves. And if you find that this weapon, this target that you have, the grooves that you've built aren't working, guess what? Build some other grooves. Because you need to stay focused on where you want to go. And when times get tough and times get challenging, you've got classmates you can call one another. You can say, this is what's going on. What do you think I should do? You have mentors, people that have gone before you. Probably the ones that have gone before you have already done what you've done. They've already have the problems that you're experiencing, the challenges that you're experiencing. And you can ask those people, what do I do? You might not like what they say because that would involve letting go of something you're attached to. Or it might be that you're trying to fix things on your own because you have your own ideas about things and thoughts about things. So science, art, and philosophy, that's what you need to be building. That's the grooves so that you have habits to move things forward. And that's important. So how many of you are really excited about becoming a chiropractor? How many of you already are a chiropractor? Every single hand should go up in here. Look at him. He's undergrad. His hand went up. He's already a chiropractor. Let me tell you something. Sometimes when you're building your dream, you're trying to figure out your dream, sometimes some of us take longer than others to get there. one thing about me is that I was a musician, professional musician, travel all over the East Coast, freelance drummer, played jazz and big band. And it kind of got challenging playing in nightclubs because back then everybody smoked. I couldn't see you in the nightclub because of all the smoke. So I played like this all night long with my eyes closed. And even then, when I got done, bulging red bloodshot eyes. And so I started to change. I started to get more interested in health, started doing better things for my body. And I got interested in health. And I spent time after time in health food stores and reading about nutrition and supplements and all these kind of things because it was so fascinating. There was so much information to learn and glean from that. And then when I was in the health food store one day, because I was always buying books and cramming my head with all kinds of interesting things, there was a little blue book by Dr. Julius Dentonfoss. I think it was the story of chiropractic. And I got it and started reading it. And the next day, I got 2 minutes. So the next day, a friend of mine who was a dancer in New York City called me up and she says, Lou, I've hurt my back. What kind of nutritional supplements can I take to help my back? And I says, well, I could tell you a couple things, Carol, but I think, I'm just reading this book, I think you'd be better served by going to a chiropractor, which she did. She calls me up, says, you got to come to my chiropractor. Well, I had to drive an hour to get to this place, and they told me about chiropractic and says, we're going to take some pictures of your spine. So he did. I only paid $5 for it, so it was a cool thing. It was a lot of money back then, because BJ's so old, you know.
You will always be older.
I know. I am older than BJ, by the way. So anyway, took the x-rays and went ahead and I got started under care. And then, an interesting thing. You ever thought about being a chiropractor? He hounded me, because I was a kind of a bum, okay, doing all kinds of things. And he says, go to chiropractic school. And then I had people, buddies, that were going in Murray's class, okay, that BJ talked about, where his first adjustment was. And so they were saying, no, you go to chiropractic school, but go to Life. My field doctor was saying, go to Sherman. And it took me because, you know, chiropractic is just so simple. What do you mean? One cause, one correction, and one cure. I'm studying all of this stuff scientifically about how nutrition works in the body, and it took me 3 years to decide to be a chiropractor. And when that happened, I was instantly a chiropractor in my mind, and I couldn't get through school fast enough to get out. I did undergrad in 1 year, went through with BJ, we studied together, just everything worked. Everything worked. Because all I could see, all I could vision was getting out and getting into practice so I could start taking care of people. So go ahead, build your dream, keep your vision. Whenever you start getting off track, talk to other people so you can get back on track, get back in your groove. We're all going to be groovy from today on, right? So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for your time. I love and appreciate the fact that you're here and that you're going to be chiropractors and can continue on the profession that I love.
It's on, right? But this is it. This is on. I always like to hear stories about how people, you get people to become a chiropractor. Sometimes we think it takes a pretty dynamic person, you know, to convince somebody, you should be a chiropractor, you know. And this was like 2 years ago. I was having a meeting right here, just like right now. One of the students, she was just about to graduate from Life. She came up to me and said, you took my hand in Spain You have the hands of a chiropractor.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what she said. And I walked away. So she went to life to become a chiropractor from Spain. And she came up to me at one of these meetings and said, I'm about to graduate. All I did was shake her hand. You know what? How many people's hands have you shaken? You see? You got the hands of a chiropractor. Doesn't everybody have the hands of a chiropractor? Everybody's got that ability to touch someone and bring about wholeness. So if you want to think about how do we make things grow, it's as simple as that. That's pretty simple. Just going out and saying, you got the hands of a chiropractor. Early in the 90s, says, ever think of becoming a chiropractor? He would say to an 80-year-old woman. And someone said, why would you say something to an 80-year-old woman about becoming a chiropractor? Because she's got grandkids. She'll go home and say, the chiropractor just said I should become a chiropractor. Have you ever thought of that? You know, that's how it goes. This is simple. This is what happens if you're willing to step up. Okay, next up we'll have Dr. Kathy. Can you give us like 10 minutes? And when you get close to the end, Renee will give you a twirl.
See, will it stay?
Close.
How's that? Will that stay? I can talk like this. If it is to be, it is up to me. 10 words, 2 letters. If it is to be, it is up to me. If you start getting that mindset now as students and carry that with you, you will be like River, who does not need to be doing something like this, but in his mind, if it is to be, it's up to me. Like Sunshine, who doesn't need to hug everybody that walks in the door, but in her mind, if it is to be, it is up to me. If you're going to make a change in this world, you have to start deciding now that you are that change. Some of you have been told some very negative things in your lifetime. Some of you have been told that you can't do things, or that you're not good enough, or that you're not smart enough, or that you're not big enough, or strong enough, or capable. And I want you to let go of that. Because whoever said that said it about themselves. It was never about you. It was their own fear. It was their own inability. Or maybe somebody told them they couldn't do it, and they let it stop them from having their dreams. And so they can't imagine you achieving something they wanted. They can't imagine that anybody else could do something that they weren't capable of. And so they want to tell you to save you, because I want to save you so you don't make the same mistakes I made. You can't do that. You can't be that. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You're not big enough. Your hands are too small. You're so short. You're so tiny. You're not that intelligent. School's always been hard for you. Who do you think you are that you can leave our little town and go be somebody? You're not a doctor. You're not cut out for that. How many of you have heard something along those lines sometime in your life? And how many of you can still hear the words from the person who said it? So how many of you remember that person saying it to you maybe over and over again? See, if you allow that to be part of your story, that becomes who you are. And who you be is determined by what you think up here. I never grew up with negativity. I grew up in a household where I was constantly like, my parents are the best. And I wanted you to fight me and say, no, my parents are. And I wanted to be like, no, my dad's the best. No, my mom's the best. And I couldn't understand when other kids didn't think that way. And it took me until I was older to realize that other kids didn't grow up in a household that empowered them. They may have grown up in a household that enabled bad behavior. They may have grown up in a household where somebody was enabling someone else to have bad behavior, but they didn't grow up in a household that empowered them. And if you're feeling something right now, I want you to know that I'm feeling it for you, because I've been around people who have been in households where there was enabling and not empowering. An empowered household says the things my parents say. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do, and you can have whatever you want to have in life, as long as you're willing to do what it takes. Are you? Are you willing to do what it takes to overcome the naysayers? Are you willing to do what it takes to overcome the people who said you can't do this, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not big enough, you're not enough? Can you change that right here, right now, and say, I am enough? Say it. I am enough. I don't know. Some of you I believe, and some of you still believe somebody else. When it's inside of you, and every cell in your body believes that, then it comes out of you with the force that says, I am enough. Are you enough? I am enough. Are you enough? I am enough. You are enough. And until you believe that and own that in every cell of your being, you will always have doubt. There's a part of you right now that isn't sure that if what I'm saying really is true. And I will tell you this. You see that beautiful little girl sitting there? There was a time when I believed I could not. I couldn't. My body wasn't capable. I wasn't able to. People were using those words of like an inability, an incapability. You know what that word is? That infertility word? That was being tossed around in my own head more than in anybody else's. Because for 2.5 years, when I tried to conceive a child and I couldn't, and I went through the emotional roller coaster every 28 days. And look, ladies, you are young enough that you don't want to be on that roller coaster. The 28 days, you're like, oh, thank God, right? I was on the other spectrum where at the end of the 28 days, I was like, oh, darn it. And then it got to a point of you blame people and you think it's what you did wrong and you start to think about your body. And you start to tell your body things that aren't true. And when you believe those things in your mind, guess what your cells do? They will act on your beliefs. And so I sat in DE one night on a Thursday night, and Dr. Sid got up. And how many of you have ever seen the videos of Dr. Sid? Please tell me you've heard some videos or listened to him. Dr. Sid got up and he was doing affirmation, and his affirmations that night were, I am healthy. Every cell of my body is healthy. Right now, right this minute, I am healthy. I do not have to become healthy. I am healthy. I walked out of that room and I went up to our hotel room, and 100 times that night I said, I hate to say it because I know it works. I hate to say it. I said, I am pregnant. Every cell in my body is pregnant. Right now, right this minute, I am not pregnant, right? I said it 100 times that night, 100 times the next morning, lunchtime, night. In 2 weeks, after 2.5 years, in 2 weeks, I conceived my son. 2 weeks. That fast. You know why? Because I changed my mindset. And if anyone has ever driven a motorcycle, anyone? Or a bicycle? You understand that where the head goes, the body goes. So if you're driving a motorcycle and somebody crashes and you look, you crash too. If you're riding a bicycle and there's a pothole and you look at the pothole, you will hit the pothole every time. Because where the head goes, the body goes. Where the mind goes, the cells go. And so if your mind is still stuck on I can't, I won't, I don't have, there's lack, there's inability, incapability, I'm not this, I'm not that. If your mind is stuck there, your cells will go there. Because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are always right. You are always right. It's all up here. It is all in your thoughts. I am, those are the two most powerful words you will ever say. And be mindful of what comes after that. Because I am this, I am that, you will live up to your own expectations. I told that story 1 year later after DE, or at DE, I should say, 1 year after my son was born, about his birthday, and conceived her. That fast, because I told the story. And so the power behind that of telling it with that passion, and God, don't strike me for just saying that with so much passion, but for telling something so passionately and believing in every cell of your being, whatever it is you want to become, as long as you can see it up here, as long as you can speak it into your own mind first, you can speak it into existence. You want to have an incredible practice? Start seeing it now. The first quarter students, our undergrad students, wherever you are, start seeing it now. You want to have a beautiful family? Start seeing it now. The day my son was born, somebody told me start praying for a good wife for him. I was like, what? They're like, start seeing it now. Right? Right? Okay? Because if you start to put that into the universe and you start to believe it and you start to believe in yourself, your world will change. And so whoever told you, whatever they've told you, it's not on you. That was their problem. That was their fear. That was their own talk. That was their own hesitation. That was their own inability. And it was somebody else that probably put it on them. Stop it here. The cycle stops here tonight. You have the ability to change not only your thoughts, your actions, but your destiny. Because if you decide right here, right now, tonight, that I am enough, every cell in your body will agree with you. You are enough. And if you decide right here, right now, tonight, that you are successful, you are and will become successful. So one of the things that is so powerful to me is to be able to say something out loud. Affirmations, we do them in alphabetical order. I am abundant, I am beautiful, I am caring, I am divine, I am energetic, I am fantastic. And we just go, and it's a different word every time. But I want to do this with you tonight. And there's something that Dr. Sid always did. He would tell us, I am happy, I am healthy, I am terrific. And that's not good enough, because unless you really believe it in every cell of your body, and I mean your brain absolutely is on fire believing it, then it's just as important as that person who told you you're not good enough. So I want you to feel it in your core. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take the deepest breath in, and I don't want you to let it out until you can't hold it anymore. And when you let it out, I want you to blow out so much air that at the end you have to fog a mirror, and there's nothing left in you. So take the slowest, deepest breath you possibly can. You ready? Inhale. Keep breathing in. There's more in there. There's more air. Keep breathing in. Hold it in as long as you possibly can. When you feel like you just can't hold it anymore, hold it one more second, and then slowly start to let it out. And when you think that you have let all the air out, I promise you there's more. Fog a mirror. Push that garbage away from you. You don't need that anymore. What you need is your own mind to dictate all of your own thoughts so that you can be who you want to be, do what you want to do, and have what you want to have in this life, and admit to yourself right now that I am willing to do the work. You guys ready to make this so loud that I believe every cell in your body will hear you? I am healthy. I am happy. I am terrific. You ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Here we go. I am healthy. I am happy. I am terrific. I love and appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
America is an A-M-E-R-I-C-A-N.
I can.
Okay, let's do a quick review. Hopefully you didn't come down here to be entertained. You came down here to learn a few tools to incorporate in your life. We started out a few, in the beginning we did a little thing about how your thoughts can affect whether you're heavy, just checking it out. Your thoughts affect, you're transmitting now, okay. How far does that go? Then we hear from Lou and Lori Briegel. Their thoughts brought about a child. Kathy, her thoughts brought about a child. See, if you came here and thought those are nice stories and didn't incorporate anything when you went home, well, there's no reason to come back or do these things. See, the idea is, what can I learn to make my life easier? What can I do when I take an exam to go in and know I aced the exam? I'm in Australia, and I'm doing an inner winters program. And so I sent everybody out, and I says, I want you to go out for time alone. But before that, I went around and I asked everybody, what do you want? What do you want? And I talked to this young student. She was going to the Australian one of the colleges in Australia to be a chiropractor. I said, what do you want? She said, I want peace and happiness. I want peace and happiness. So, well, I mean, you know, all this kind of shit, you know. It's like, I'm sure you want peace and happiness. Oh, yeah, that's all I want. Okay, so then I said, now, everybody, go out on your own. Get in touch with nature. Get my workbook. Do these things. They came back. So I'm going around the room and I say, what was your experience? So I go to this one student. What was your experience? Well, me and my fellow students, we decided that we got a test on Monday, and it was more important that we study for our test and go out and. I says, I asked you what you wanted. It would seem that would be a perfect time. You'd say, what I want to do is ace this exam on Monday. I want peace and happiness and all this stuff. And you couldn't even follow through with a program because you were worrying about taking an exam. How much energy will you put in? I want to pass this exam. I want to get the national boards. You know, it's like we do programs sometimes on the national board. They're doing a review on this weekend, or they're not doing a review. They're studying because on Monday they're going to do the exam. So I can't come to the program like Spizz night because I have to study. You're taking the exam on Monday, and Saturday night's going to determine whether you're going to pass. I'm sorry you're a day late and $1 short. It's like you'd have been doing something a long time ago. You'd be having a frame of mind, I can't lose with the stuff I use. You think, I can't lose with the stuff I use. How do you feel? Is the world trying to get you? Do you know when you take an exam, if you just start taking an exam, you usually answer the right questions, and then you go back and think it over, and then you change all the answers because, oh, I better think that one over, I better think that over. Do you live in tune with that? Do you study with people of like mind? Yeah. Oh, we studied and we had to go get drunk tonight, you know, so that we'd wake up with a hangover. Taking a test is a good thing with a hangover. It's like, I mean, like, you need to be congruent about what you want. As you learn these things, make sure you incorporate this stuff in your life. Right now, every one of you has experienced at one time that you focused on something, put your energy, and a miracle took place in your life. Every one of you has had that experience sometime in your life, you know. Why wouldn't you want your life to be like miracles every day? Why would you say, well, that was nice to doing that, but today I'm going to worry about flunking everything. That'll be a miracle for you too. Because you get to take the exam over, you get to take the class over, or you get to come back and take your national boards over. Isn't that really great? I remember one of my kids was saying, he says, I'm not a good student. I'm not a good student. I can't become a chiropractor. So he decided to become a chiropractor. He just said, well, I won't be a student then. I'll be a scholar. Well, scholars go through school easy. Students have a hard time. So he didn't have a problem. So he went to take the national boards. He took 1, 2, 3, 4. Just passed them all. How do you think? It's plain and simple. So take and make sure you're listening to what our speakers are saying and telling their stories, and you use it. Because if you don't use it, it doesn't mean anything. Okay? Okay. Next up, 10 minutes, Dr. David Atler. He's going to share a few words. Yeah. We're moving along.
Sure, put me out to Kathy. So I was sitting here thinking, and last week I had the honor and privilege of speaking at Life Force, and I want to kind of tie a few things together. First of all, I talked last week about it's the greatest time to be a chiropractor, and we've all heard that throughout our lives. And every single time we heard it, at every moment, every year, every decade, it was true. But I'll tell you, today's probably the best time to be a chiropractor, because things are aligning in the universe, and things are aligning on the news that we don't watch and the internet we don't read. That tells us that things are falling apart out there. And I am so excited that I see so many students here on a Saturday night not getting drunk. Even if you have boards coming up soon, whatever it is, and you're our leaders. So understand that you are given an opportunity, and it's an important one. In 6 weeks, March 23rd is my 32nd year from life, and it feels like yesterday. And I feel literally like I'm just getting started. Lou talked about the bullet, and yeah, it's fun to shoot, but the targets change. Sometimes they get a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller. It's our clarity and our focus. So I also am privileged and honored to be a peak doc, because I have a wonderful student with me right now, and he is eager to learn. And then he said to me, he goes, I got boards 3 and 4. It's like, when? He goes, soon. I said, so you're going to have 3 and 4 while working with me? Boy, are we going to have fun. I said, I want you to get rid of the stuff you know, and then bring the stuff that you don't think you know, and let's just have fun with it. Because every single time he has a question, I get sharper. So, see one, do one, teach one, I get that opportunity. When my brother-in-law, I've been involved with chiropractic since I've been about 8 or 9, and I've been a justice since then. And as most of you heard today, my brother-in-law is Ernie Landy, and I wish I could turn back some of the time and suck up the wisdom that I just immaturely let go. But I remember one thing. I was looking at my friend here talking, and I said to myself, Ernie used to teach. The student comes in and they're shaking when they're palpating, and they're digging in, and they're doing this and squeezing and blanching their fingers. You can't feel squat once you stop blood flow. So Ernie said, what you do is take a hair from your head and put it under a sheet of phone book paper. Well, I did a lot of palpation. I know he's good. What did you do? Yeah, okay. So, but you don't have telephone books, right? So I was working with my student, and my doctor, who's not got his license yet, and I was like, palpate me. And I was like, no, gentle. And then he asked me, he's like, how do you know? And I said, because it's not about palpating. It's not about the adjustment. It's about connecting. I can't tell you how many times I walked into the room, looked at one of my patients, and I really want to know what's going on in their lives, because you know what? The therapists ain't helping them. Certainly not the psychiatrists. Okay? There is place and time, but they need connection and they need love. I've had patients go through hell and back. And I would look at them and say, before we adjust, let's get a hug in. And they do. Or sometimes I'm just palpating them. I'm like, this is a safe place. And then I'm running to the bathroom to get toilet paper because they're bawling. And it's important, because we are that. We are not the bone setters. It's fun to adjust. I don't work any day ever. I have 7 days a week I could be in my office. It's not work. I love it. I was in my office on Friday, and I usually done at 1 because I like long weekends. And I was there till 4, just talking with my student, and we were just working and just having fun and going through things. So, your patients come in, they trust you, and they need us more than ever. There is nowhere for them to turn. If they go to the emergency room, they're at $10,000, $20,000. They did nothing for them. 0. Do they serve a purpose? Absolutely. You have a heart attack or a compound fracture, go to the best doctor. I shared this at last weekend, and Kathy, you said something very interesting about wanting to get pregnant. Well, we tried for a long time, and science helped us. In vitro fertilization. Good stuff. Took one of my little guys, one of her little eggs, plugged them together. And the doctor put the embryos back into my wife and said, okay, it's up to God now. In a hospital, I almost passed out. I said, wow, here's a physician that they don't talk about that kind of stuff, but it was true. So what happens? The sperm, we all know what goes on. I'll review that. But the process was not based in science. The process of having the egg implant, the process of the cell division, all those things happen because the innate intelligence. It doesn't happen any other way. That almost sounds, that's my work. that almost sounds evangelical. And people are now, to be honest with you, I believe more than ever, ready to hear those exact words. They've been bombarded with other words, yes? Like shelter in place, all this other wonderful stuff. Everything that has taken us away from each other, and they're flocking to our offices and coming in and getting adjusted. And it's fun because a lot of my patients are nervous and they'll wear a mask, and I'm like, it's safe to be in here. So visit one, they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then maybe the second visit, then the third visit, they're just coming in, laying down, and they're good. We change how they perceive things. We get to touch and change their lives, and it is a damn gift to have. So right now, I'm telling every one of you students, I don't care if it's undergrad's gone. Well, there you are. I don't care what quarter or pre-quarter you're in. Visit our offices. One thing I didn't get to say amongst our colleagues in there, the trustees and the people who are there, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of wisdom in there, and millions of adjustments that have been given. Let's not talk about the money because that's a given, right? But go and ask. I've made mistakes. We all said it. And the mistakes are the best thing in the world because those are your lessons. You know, you don't want to make too many of them, or more importantly, you don't want to repeat them, but they're valuable. And so I am open to seeing anybody. I had some students come up to like, I'd like to shadow. I'm like, let's go. Just come in, ask. I have had a really tough time for a very long time asking for help on certain things. And when I did ask for help, and it was just like 6 weeks ago, I wrote down the date because I realized that that's the date shit's gonna change. And it literally changed. And my whole practice changed, the way I look at the practice changed, the way I communicate with my patients changed because I took something off of me that should never have been on me. And when I peeled that layer, it opened up a different level. And so change can be made anytime, but shadow, ask for help, ask questions, challenge yourself. That's the most important. And when you get to touch somebody, it's a privilege and an honor because you're getting what's happening in their lives. You could feel it. I remember one time adjusting a patient. They're laying down, and I said to myself, oh my God, that was such a good adjustment. Just to myself. And she goes, oh yeah, that was. I'm like, whoa, because she felt it, and we felt it together. And it's magical. And we get to do that every day. It's an honor. So we have to just understand what you're doing now. As we said, you're all chiropractors. Now you got to go through the process of getting that license. And then you start to begin to learn. So don't do what I did. I had some fabulous mentors, and I thought I knew more, and I didn't listen. Listen deeply and passionately. Ask questions, challenge, because you'll learn. And just take it with you. And be thankful every morning, because you're not working, you're loving, and you get to help people, and it's the most magical thing in the world. So I hope that this little share that I give and our sharing collectively will help you think differently and ask some questions. And good luck on boards and everything else, y'all.
Thank you, David. Is it a great night?
Yes.
Let's see, I'm 82, and I'm just starting. Is it? Can you wake up every morning and says, I'm just starting. This is the most exciting thing I could be doing. This is it. It doesn't get any better, and it gets better. It gets better. I always enjoy listening to chiropractors. It's like, you know, like for me, I retired when I was 17. That's when I started college to become a chiropractor. It's like retirement is when you do what you love to do. It's like, why would you want to wait? Why would you be doing it now? So make a switch here. Is that muted?
Not yet.
And I wouldn't say, is this on, because I'm always on. I need 2 folding chairs brought here. A minute here.
Good time for it. Yeah.
Oh, we got, okay, we got it. Yeah, bring the bag, please. The whole bag. Okay. What's this made mostly of? Air. That's right. Space. Well, most of us think it's pretty stiff and hard, you know, whatever. I like to use this as an example of focus, commitment, what can happen. Let's say the dream is down here. Down here. This is the barriers that the world's telling you what you can and cannot do. All the stuff that keeps going in up here. So what would happen if I wanted to take and get to my dream and the barrier was here? all the nonsense that people say, all the limitations I put on myself. What would happen if I just focused on my dream? But you know, luckily I have a little intellect too. So I look to see what way the grain's going because I want life to be easy for me. You know, I'd like to think I had my eyes open when I would go for my dream because I'm going to be focused down here. And I think if I was using my hand, I'd like to use the nice like this towards my dream. Not seeing this at all, just knowing that there is a barrier there of nonsense that people talk to me. This is the shit between your ears, you know. You know, you all got that stuff up there between your ears, you know, that you've been piling in. What if, but it would be different if I didn't have the silver spoon. They were lucky and all this shit, you know. That's why I can't do what I want to do. So, after saying all that, is there anybody who's never done this event interested in doing it to demonstrate to everybody how it's done? Okay. We're going to get this up here. You're going to get on this side. And then we're going to put it like so. And so you're going to get down here and get a field of energy. You're going to get this like, yes, it's down here. This is it. This is it. You got to picture this. It's got to represent something for you. Is there something down here that you can like really zero in and say, yes, I'm willing to really go for this dream of mine? You got something down here that you could say? That's where your dream is. Do you have some feeling within you that you could develop enough passion and drive that you're going to go there no matter what happens? You're going to be in your dream down there? Okay, so you also have an intellect of knowing reality. Is that the best way is to have your eyes open so you can get down there? Recognize that you're going with the grain, so it makes life easy. I'm going with the flow of life. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the dream like this. What? And your hand will be there when you finish. And so whenever you get that feeling. Now a good thing to do is center yourself. You know, get yourself together. You're collected together, remember? Pull my energy together. And feel something down here. Get connected. It has real meaning to you. And when you get that, go for your dream. Well,
Don't hit it.
go to your dream.
Go to your dream. Hit your dream.
Just go to your dream. Down here. Your hand will be down here when you get finished. You're going to go through the barriers right down there. You're not, this doesn't exist in your mind. All that exists is here. And you're going to take and come through and go right down there to your dream. Get your energy moving. You're willing to commit yourself, do whatever you have to do. But when you get finished, you're going to have your hand on your dream. You got that dream, right? Okay. Whenever you got that feeling, you just go for it.
Yeah!
Okay. So how did that feel?
It felt good.
Felt good?
Powerful.
Powerful? Okay. Good. Can you see how that can be in your life if you're willing to focus on where you want to be? You get rid of the barriers, what happens?
I'm sure.
Okay. Who else would like to give it a whirl?
David.
Devin.
Whoever.
29. 29? 29.
I shouldn't get it. You can take your own board. How do I want to? Now, let's see.
He did want to make
Okay, you got something down here that you can go for? Got meaning? Put that energy to it?
If you'd like a chair, you can always sit down.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So what were you feeling?
Power.
Power?
Mm-hmm. Focus.
Now, can you use that in your life?
I can.
Okay, and what way can you use this in your life right now?
What way can I use power?
What you just did.
I can use the fact that I can set my mind to anything I achieve. The fact that it's only just a matter of like, do I think I can achieve it or can I not? There's nothing that's actually impossible.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, this is a board. The dream is on here. And what did Kathy say? Every ounce, every part of her being, every part of her physiology, she's going to have her dream. I am. We're giving you an opportunity to have a practice of what happens when you zero in and you're willing to commit something so strong that doesn't matter what the world's saying. It doesn't matter all that shit everybody's put in there. This is the most important thing you got going in your life. And that's what it does. I was doing this at a meeting and we had 1,000 people one time. And I had asked somebody if they would like to come up and do it. And a good friend of mine, Brian Burns, is a chiropractor in Tampa. This little girl gets up, she's this big. I said, oh my God. She gets up and goes like this. And the board was gone. Went right through it like that. I've been to programs where we have karate people. And they've gone through an inner winners program and they're getting in touch with this stuff in their life and all this kind of stuff. And they'll sit there and beat the board because they're so stuck in their crap, These are opportunities to get rid of that stuff you get stuck in, the crap, It's got to get that feeling like, yeah, my dream is so important it doesn't matter. First time I did an event like this, I was with my son, Danny. They had bricks and they had boards. So I says to Danny, he says, I'll take the board. I said, well, okay, I'll do the brick. So I went through a brick. He went through the board. Then we had to reverse it. And I says to Danny, I don't know about this. I can handle bricks, but I don't know about boards. But it all came down to is how committed you can be to what you want. See, in life, sometimes you get one, centimeter of opportunity to change a dendrite thinking just like that. And that's what this does. That's what we do at Inner Winners, is give you an opportunity to look at your life, what you're doing. See, life is experiential. It's experiential. You learn from your experiences. How many people do you know, and maybe yourself included, you keep having the same experiences, you learn nothing, and you keep duplicating every day. And it's ditto, 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 ditto to the whole life. It doesn't mean having a relationship. I had a very good friend of mine. She was a chiropractor. And she was in the last quarter at Palmer at the time. Life was not open. And I was going to go on vacation. I said, would you take and cover my office? And she was 8.5 months pregnant. She weighed like 92 pounds. And she came in the office. She said, well, what should I do? I said, just adjust it. I'm leaving. And she said, are you going to show me anything? I said, they taught you technique. I left. Now, at the time, I was seeing large volume. We used to see 300-400 patients a day when I run the office myself. And so this was a slow day. And I left. And our first day in the practice, she saw 180 people. So subsequently in life, she had many practices, all large volume. Easy. But she had a relationship problem. And she kept repeating the same thing. She'd get married to the same type of person, never making a change. Just keep attracting that same type of person. She said, I don't understand this. In my practice, I can just do it like this because you have a belief system that supports that. And you have a belief system about your spouse, whether you are lovable, whether there's something deficient in you, that you never can give out all of yourself. You hold back because you've been hurt sometime in your life. And so all you do is keep repeating the same practice and same problem, and she carried it the rest of her life. And she could never overcome, she never could release this dendrite thinking that she had about her worthiness to be in a relationship. So these things are opportunities for you if you want. We're going to be doing Inner Winners, and we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up in a month. In Dahlonega, we do this over 3 days, and you'll be doing firewalking, experiential training programs, all kinds of different things to challenge yourself to what you're capable of doing. It was interesting because at this last Life Force talk that we had last weekend, Andre Julia, he was from Puerto Rico, and he had been to about 4 or 5 of our Inner Winters programs, and he used to come to Life Force and different things like this, and he used to say, I want to be a leader, I want to be a leader, I'm going to be a leader. I said, don't worry about being a leader, just step forward, take care of what you're doing today. So anyways, he went back to Puerto Rico after he graduated. The hurricane went through there. They took care of that idea. So he went to Colorado, practiced for a while, a couple of years, I think he said, a couple of years. And he's been in Tampa now for 2 years. So the interesting thing is that here's the dynamic. He had the energy. It was interesting. The meeting was run by Inner Winter people. They were running. The internet people that are introduced to Andre were from Inner Winters. These are people that got in touch with us, found their power, and out as students are doing it now. So anyways, I'm at the Life Leadership Program. I'm sitting at the Puerto Rican table now. How low? So I got this father and his 2 kids are sitting there, and I started saying, you're Puerto Rican? Let me tell you a story. I just listened to this doctor from Puerto Rico, and he says, oh, you mean Andre and Julia? I says, yeah. He says, he's the one that sent us here. That's why we're here. And I talked to how many people said, I've been trying to get people to go to Life Leadership, a student or something like this. He's in Puerto Rico. He hasn't been there for 5 years, and he's got 3 people. And the one that I'm talking to that's there is the father who is a dentist with his 2 kids. And it's interesting about, do you make a difference when you're talking at the leadership program? This is a dentist. Before long, when we're talking to temple mandibular jaw and all this stuff, and they've got atlas adjusting, and it has to, I want to start working with chiropractors now when I go back to Puerto Rico. See, you make a difference. All of you are making a difference all the time. If you choose to not say anything, you're making a difference. You may not like the difference you're making because you're keeping your mouth shut. So when you go to bed at night, you may be thinking, am I happy with the difference I'm making? Come on now, let's get with the program. So, who else would like to go for a dream? We got a couple more dreamers here.
That's a good side. That was good. That was good, yeah.
You got a good dream?
Yep.
Whoa!
Whoa.
So what was your experience?
Empowering.
Empowering?
It's definitely a breakthrough.
In more ways than one, too. That's right. So can you see how you can use this in your life?
Absolutely.
Good. We don't want you to do the Kathy thing and get pregnant because that wouldn't be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Who else? Come on, girls.
Could I interject for a second?
Sure.
About dreams? Devin, what did you tell me in first quarter your near-term goal was? To be what? Part of Student Life Force. What is your role in Student Life Force now? Yeah. Thoughts become reality. Okay? Be careful what you think, because the positive thoughts can become your reality. So can the negative thoughts. Okay?
You are transmitting all the time. You select what you want to transmit, but you are transmitting. Okay, so what does this represent? You got something this represents for you?
Yeah.
Okay? You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you go for it.
Thanks, River.
Oh! You don't fool Alex. What was your experience?
I mean, it was just air, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. It was easy.
It was easy?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's the beforehand that's the hardest. It's
Yeah,
thinking
getting
about
up here
it,
was
going
the
through it's
hardest
the
part.
easiest part. It's like life. How do you get through life? One step at a time. That's in the big life and Life University. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get it on.
experience?
It was definitely empowering. It just really helped me kind of break myself out of the way.
Now, you've done this before, right?
Yes.
So, is there always a trepidation or a feeling when you step up to do things? It's like, once again,
Yes.
it
Especially in
is.
front of all these people.
Yeah, you know, because you're looking at it, it's like, will I be judged over this? What if? And to me, it's like the most important thing. I can step up. It doesn't matter what the world thinks. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Which chiropractic family is the richest family in the world? Who? Who? Chiropractic family.
Musk.
Elon Musk. You understand that? Elon Musk is a chiropractic family. His grandmother, great-grandmother, first chiropractor to practice in Canada in 1907. His grandfather is a chiropractor. His uncle is a chiropractor. And do you know that in 2008, he invested all his money. He had PayPal. They sold it all, made all this money, invested all in Tesla, and lost it all. He was living in the headquarters at Tesla and showering at the YMCA in 2008. How could he be the richest person on the planet a few years later? He never gave up his commitment and his focus. He never cared what anybody else had to say. He's going to Mars. You think you're saying, I'm going to be a chiropractor? You think that's strange? When do you go home and tell your family, I'm going to be the first chiropractor in Mars? What do you think your mom and dad will say? So, you've been smoking a joint or something? Huh? What would you? What's going on here? He's going to go to Mars. He's living in a home in Dallas, Texas, like the little home of heaven when he's in Mars. Who's the guy that played Star Trek? What's this?
William Shatner.
Shatner. Did you see on Netflix the Shatner story when he went into outer space with Peso? His rocket went into space. It's on Netflix. Peso says, I got the idea watching Star Trek from you. The possibility of doing this. Watch the flick. Peso, he just sounds like an ordinary guy. He's telling a dream or something. You know, he's the second richest person on the planet. Nothing near Elon Musk because, you know, Elon Musk has got chiropractic blood in it. You do know you have the same DNA. You can't lose the stuff you use. We all came from D.D. Palmer. That's where Elon Musk got from. Thinks outside the box, iconoclast. That's what we in chiropractic are. We think outside the box. We are iconoclast. We're not accepted by society. Do you know that today, all the way to today, since 1895, there's never been one thing in science that's been ever to say chiropractic has any value? There's nothing being published by any media out there saying chiropractic has any value. And all this, they've never found a reason why chiropractors should even exist. That's the profession you're going into. They've told Elon, he's not going to Mars. He's going to Mars. You can't be the richest person on the planet. No. I've surpassed everybody that ain't even close to being the richest planet. He has a third more money than anybody else on the planet. And 20 years ago, he was taking a bath at the YMCA. When's the last time for you to take a shower, you had to go to the YMCA or YWCA, huh? So to me, it's like, get rid of these limitations that you have. I'm going to invite all of you to come to Inner Winners. It's coming up March 5th through 6th. Anybody been to Inner Winners like to share their experience? If so, would you come up here a minute and share it standing here so they can see it on the screen here while you're talking too? Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, everybody. My name is Cheyenne. I'm currently a 10th quarter student, and I have attended Inner Winners twice. And the first time that I attended Inner Winners was absolutely life-changing because it taught me how to get out of my own way and how to accept my anxieties, but move past them and break through them. And I walked across fire, and I walked across fire 6 times to let go of every single one that was in my way. The second time, I had the opportunity to bring my lovely partner, and together we broke through so much that we needed to overcome, and we are stronger people than we were when we left, when we got there. And the experience is life-changing, and I think that every single one of you need to take the opportunity to go, because you will change in ways that you didn't even know you needed to change. And that's nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to share that's been in our winners?
I'll share.
Sure.
Road goes. Cool. So I went to Inner Winners before COVID hit. And I'm somebody who reads a lot, stays ahead of the curve with a lot of things. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a breeze. But you get there, and so they make you put your phones away, which is great, because you can actually drop in. You can, it's full of connection, because you have no distractions. And it's just really elevating. And there's a series of events that challenge you in different ways. And it puts you in a position of choosing whether or not you're going to grow or if you're going to stay stagnant. And so it was really empowering. I loved being away from my phone for 4 days. It was incredible. I know it sounds scary to everyone in the room. I remember do you guys remember the rotary phones? Yeah, that's how old I am. But it's really empowering because it just, it helps you to connect in. And we're in chiropractic, and we're always talking about connecting. We're always talking about dropping in before we put our hands on our patients. But it's like we can't even be away from our phones for like a day, you know? So when you do it for 4 days and you're met with all these challenging things in front of you and you're growing at a rate that's very fast, by the way, it's incredible. It's a really great experience, and I highly recommend it.
Thank you. We're going to do a raffle, and then we're going to do a visualization to wrap things up. Put that there. You never know. Kid Cairo. This is BJ growing up as a child. He was expelled. He was expelled from school, I think, when he was in the 7th or 8th grade for bringing a rat to school. So that was the end of his career. But the teacher who expelled him eventually had to come to Palmer to study chiropractic under him. He tells the stories. He lived on the streets, in brothels, all these different places. He didn't have a very good childhood. But through all that, he became the man that he made, changed all our lives. We're in chiropractic. We're enjoying good health and everything because of him. So anyways, this is the raffle. And want to pull a ticket, please? Okay, read it out.
086226.
Back there. Okay, we have a winner. You knew you came from here for a reason. That's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, one more. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. BJ Palmer. And this is about the spiritual writings of BJ Palmer. All the things that you read that are spiritual writings are all excerpt out of the green books. And let me see. Okay. The foreword is giant versus pygmy. Here's a question about the bigness, from the bigness of the fellow within. Can you do this? The bigness of the fellow within. Answers, book from answers, all about the glory of going on, but the volumes, all the stuff that was of spiritual value in those different chapters and things in the BJ books, all the volumes we got there. And so we're going to draw another one. And this will be the spiritual writings of B.J. Palmer.
086273.
Now, remember when we talked? I knew there was a reason why you'd be coming here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. You got it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. You can do it whatever you want with it now. It's a gone ticket. Okay. Like I say, anybody that signs up tonight that wants to go to Interwinters, the cost I think is $9.99. That's your tuition, room, board, lodging, and everything for 4 days. Anybody that wants to sign up, they'll get a copy of the BJ's spiritual writings as a gift that will be given to you at Interwinters. Anybody that's already scheduled to be at Interwinters, if you sign anybody else up to bring along with you at Interwinters, we'll give you a copy of the BJ book over here. It's a $40 value. So it's nothing to sneeze at. And so as quickly as possible, we need to pass this out. Everybody needs one of these cards.
Do we have any extras? Pass a couple more back. Thank you.
Now, this one says dealing with students, study habits is listed in it. If you are a chiropractor, we have one up here that you can pick up after we do this. It says my practice instead of study habits. You'll see when we get to it. But what we're going to do is I want you to take this card. This is a visualization apparatus. We use this at the beginning of every board meeting at Life University Trustees. We've been doing this since for like the last 10 years. I put this together for Life West and Life, and this is how we open every one of our board meetings, okay? I want you to do this every morning. Put it on your mirror in your bathroom, and you read this with conviction. This is how you create your dream. This is how you create your dream. This is how you create your dream, okay? And so to do this, we're going to have everybody stand. We're going to talk to our people in Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, reading what it says. And when I start, we keep going, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. I am an infinite expression of the universe. From this field of unlimited possibilities, I come together with fellow travelers and knowingly create, through the life movement, the correction of chronic vertebral suffocation, a world that is directed from above down, inside out, by serving, doing, giving, and loving from my own abundance. I project in a specific way my life flourishing with positive, successful study habits, financial resources, and individuals supporting me who are aligned with my lasting purpose. I see this happening easily, effortlessly, with an attitude of love, peace, and excitement. I use my resources in a positive way for the betterment of humanity. I see it, I feel it, I touch it, I smell it, because I'm willing to put action behind my creative energy. I continue to look to the universe to unfold in unexpected ways. allows me to know the spiritual forces of the universe are working in the now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's sit down just a moment. And we end this with thank you, thank you, thank you, because thank you is our way of saying we are opening, we are receptive to receiving. That's what you want to do throughout the day. All the different things, always give thanks for them, whatever. Do not look at it as positive. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I'm open to receive the gifts of the universe. If you do this, and I've had people that, I was up at the New Beginnings a couple of years ago, and they said, oh, I do this every night, going on and on and on. I've been doing it for 15 years. I was down in Florida. He says, the only thing I really did out of your program is your visualization. My practice doubled, and I do it all the time. It's the easiest way I can see to build a practice. I'm inviting all of you to be at Inner Winners. Each of you, I know, have got different things are stuck in your life. Let us help you get over them. Let us help you get through them. We at Inner Winners are facilitators. Just like you in chiropractic will be adjusters. But it's the magnificent power within that does the healing. And if I can put you in a certain position so that you can learn something about yourself, this infinite wisdom within yourself will bring about a healing in your life, will make life effortless, peaceful, and abundant. Releasing that power within. I can tell you, in 2002, when Life University went through its problems, I didn't have the know-how. I wasn't a collegiate person. I wasn't an educated person to run a university or any of those things. But in 2002, when all of a sudden I had to take charge at life, I vowed that NA did not take us this far to lose life. There's a reason why. And I never lost the faith. And I present to every person, faculty, students, and doctors, that we will make it through this. The Spirit is working in our behalf. And when I was going through accreditation processes, and I was doing it basically on my own, and I'm sitting there with the accreditation people from Southern Accrediting, and they said to me in the group, I don't know how life made it through all its little upheaval. All we can say is God's working on this campus. This is your campus, folks. This is your campus. I want to give you the tools that you become the new leaders in our profession. You are not junk. You are something important. You have divinity within you. And if it's awakened within yourself, life can be anything you want it to be. We appreciate you being here. Let's have some fun. Thank you.